A viewer left a couple of thoughtful comments on episode 2. I'm not going to read the handle, but I do want to address the ideas raised. One comment suggested that I should discuss Halton ARP and observations of what are called discordant redshifts, which some people believe challenge the Big Bang model. Halton ARP was a serious observational astronomer who cataloged many unusual galaxies in the 1960s. His observations raised interesting questions about whether redshift always corresponds to distance. Over the decades since ARP's work, astronomers have studied millions of galaxies and quasars through large sky surveys. Those data show that the redshift distance relationship holds statistically across the observable universe. The apparent associations ARP identified are now understood as line of sight alignments rather than physical connections. The same viewer also argued that the Big Bang model is simply a series of mathematical blunders and that alternative cosmologies make more sense. That comment raises a useful opportunity to talk about how science evaluates competing theories. In science generally, and physics in particular, when a new theory replaces an older one, the older theory does not suddenly become obsolete and something to be disregarded. What the newer theory must do is explain everything the older theory explained and then explain additional observations that the older theory could not. Newton's law of gravity still guides spacecraft to Mars. General relativity expands that framework to include strong gravitational fields and very high velocities. In fact, when gravitational fields are weak and velocities are small compared to the speed of light, the equations of general relativity reduce to Newton's law. Every theory contains within it the limits of its own applicability. So if an alternative cosmology is being proposed, the task isn't simply to criticize the Big Bang model. The alternative must also explain the observations that this model already explains very well. Those observations include the cosmic microwave background, the observed abundance ratios of the elements produced through nucleosynthesis, and the redshift distance relationship known as Hubble's law. If an alternative model can explain those observations equally well and explain more besides, then cosmologists will be very interested. That's how science moves forward. So come walk with me.